Now relax.
Okay, let's begin. Welcome to Game Creator. Just a note, this is going to be in English. All the workshops are in English. You can talk among yourself during the workshop in Icelandic if you want, but English is the official language of these sessions. And my name is Ólafur Andri, and I'm the host for these workshops, and I'm also the chairman of IGI. Let me find here. Okay. So the agenda today is going to be, I'm going to introduce Game Creator, and then Jonas from Paradox in Sweden is going to tell us a little bit about his work and the state of the industry as he sees it. This is a veteran in this field. Great to have him with us today. But the main presentation today is going to be David Thu, who is assistant professor at RU, this university. Okay, so get this done.
Identify your keyboard. Okay, doesn't work.
Okay, so let's continue. Thank you all for coming. It's really nice to see so many people showing up here today. The Icelandic gaming industry, that's the association that is hosting this event and has been doing those for the last 4 times. This association is part of Samtökum Iðnaðarins, the Association of Industries. The IGI was founded in 2009, and basically what this group of people does is to organize get-togethers. That's basically, we don't have any budget, we don't have any money, but we try to organize get-togethers like this one, bringing people together to collaborate, talk to each other, get to know each other, and something comes out of it. That would be great. Meetups, this Game Creator conferences, every now and then we manage to have a conference. But today we are talking about Game Creator, and this is a competition for the 4th time. And we have, since the beginning, I didn't get these exact numbers, but since the beginning we have had over 50 games so far submitted. Some of them have continued to become commercial games released. So Icelandic gaming industry, in cooperation with Reykjavík University and Markmiðlunarskólinn, are the people that are, or the groups that are responsible for this. So why are we doing this? So if you ever wanted to create your own game, you have a great idea for a game, or you just want to learn about gaming industry, you want to work in industry, this competition is a perfect venue for that activity. The process is like this. We start today, January 17th, and we run this through in February 14th, I think. And during this time, teams can sign up. We already have 12 teams signed up so far, with about 40-something participants already in the competition, and you can sign up anytime. And so the process is we have 4 workshops, and these workshops are hosted by some experts like David, and Ari will be also later. Okay.
Slight technical difficulties. Just aim it like this for the moment.
Okay. Oh, you were viewing the live stream. Yeah. And then Hannes Högni, I think, is also on the agenda. So these are experts in these in the gaming in game development. And then we will have, in the end, there's a panel of judges that will judge the games and select the best game, and then we have an award ceremony that will be hosted on University Day. So yeah, this is the deadline. We have award ceremony, and we give out money prizes and some prizes that might be very useful. So the workshops, kickoff. This is the kickoff. We're going to have the theme is after Jonas. We're going to talk. David is going to talk about game design and prototype. Then a week from now, in this room, we will have game engineering, and then after that, we'll have art in games. And Ari is going to show you how to create artwork and using these tools that he is using. And then we will close in the last session. We will close and come out with some points on how to finalize this. So one of the things that we always emphasize is that if you come here out of curiosity, but you don't have a team, find somebody. Just talk to people and find somebody. One of the things that we have learned over the years is that if you work alone, you might have a brilliant idea, but you work alone, collaboration is actually better. Having multiple people developing ideas, taking input from each other usually works the best. There are always cases where some brilliant game designer comes up with a brilliant game, but usually it's a collaboration effort. So if you're not in a team, find a team or form a team or talk to somebody. Okay, the rules. The rules are very simple. Rules for the competition. You must submit a playable prototype of the game. Playable prototype, what that means, how big it has to be. This is a competition. It has to be better than the next game. That's how big it should be. The game should be designed and developed from the concept to prototype. What is this? Pretty slow. During the process of competition. So a concept. So this is not this should be a concept that you develop and develop it into a working prototype that you can play. And we also have a rule that professional developers working in game companies, we're trying to get people started in this. So it might be unfair to have people that already have a lot of experience in this. So this is the rule. And then finally, no limits on it. Team size, but you must register all the team members. There might be some optimal team size though. Some people talk about 2 pizza teams in software development. Maybe that applies also here. So if it's enough to feed the team with 2 pizza, it's perfect size. And then there's no age limitation. Okay, I think now it's good time to have some questions. About the rules, competition, anything.
What about like copyright infringements?
Copyright infringements.
Because it's not part of the that you have to infringe on copyright.
You know, this is something that we don't worry too much about. We have never had any problem with copyright, do we?
No. You can look at it this way, that would you actually use copyrighted material in your game? You probably wouldn't do that. But it's a prototype. You're not going to release this game, basically. So you make it with that in mind. You can't, like, I would actually use, like, you could probably use copyrighted material for the prototype. I don't recommend it necessarily, but if you're going to release the game, then you should definitely change that.
I was more thinking of like I need that sound.
Yeah, then again, there are also a lot of material just freely available on the internet. I think you can look under our website to find some material to help you with sounds, for example, and art and stuff.
But we're not going to be checking if the assets that are used are copyrighted by somebody,
No.
Unless it's obvious. But this is not something that we are worrying about. But you should be worried about if you release it.
Yeah, so in general, this is a competition about like showing your own work and learning how to do these things yourself, right? Like it should be demonstrating something that you're capable of, ideally. So my suggestion would be, if at all possible, don't use any copyrighted work. Like the best game here will not use copyrighted work, in my opinion, okay? So if you're at all doubtful about whether or not something, the legality might be iffy, try to find something else instead, okay?
Just a partial answer to my question, but they are allowed to use all sorts of game engines, all sorts of.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes. The question is, are we allowed to use game engines? Of course.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have a lecture on that, I think, next week.
Yeah, I think writing your own game engine might be, well, I would say bold. Okay, any more questions?
How will you judge the games?
Okay, how will we judge the games? Good question. Well, what we do is we have a panel of judges. We have selected few of them, which we still need to add a few more persons. What we will do is we will create, before we look at the games, we will create criteria. And the criteria are based on artwork, gameplay, game design, some things that we put down before, and then we will go through all the games and base them on this. So it's a combination of all these things. Is it an enjoyable game? Is it pleasing? How is the gameplay? How is the graphics? Things like this. Sorry? We haven't done that. Joey, have we done that?
Sorry.
Have we made the judging criteria public?
No. Yeah.
No, but it's basically these things, and making a list is not a big problem. Okay, anytime if you have a question during this workshop or the subsequent workshops, you can always come and talk to me and the people that are organizing this. So, and also we will post some contact information if there are any questions you want to talk to us privately or send email, you can do that. But anytime today, if there are questions about the rules of the competition and the competition itself, just let us know. Okay? So before Jonas is gonna say a few words, I want to show you the games from last year. So just to give you, this is the video of the games that were participating in last year's Game Creator. Okay, so this is last year. this year is going to be much better. So we're upping the level. Okay, the resources we will communicate here, Facebook also. There are lots of resources we will put in here, so check this site out if you haven't. And now I'm just going to say, let the competition begin. And I'm going to ask Jonas to come and say a few words. Jonas Antonsson, he worked for Gogagic for many years, founded that one. And now he's mobile VP of mobile for Paradox Games or Paradox Publishers. And he's going to tell us a little bit about how it is to work in this industry and develop games and publish games and things like that. And if you have any questions, just shoot. Okay. So, Jonas, I welcome Jonas.
Hi. I don't have any slides. As Andre asked me to join and do this on short notice, and I just said yes. So I currently live in Stockholm, Sweden. Here for a few days, coincidentally, when this competition is kicking off. And this is actually very, very gratifying. It's a gratifying experience. First of all, that I come to Iceland and immediately get a sore throat, so I become weak from living in Sweden, which you of course have not because you still live here. Secondly, because I'm amongst the people that founded the Icelandic Game Industry Organization. I remember the first competition we held, well, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and this group is probably, I'd guesstimate, 7 or 8 times bigger than the group that participated that year. So I'm extremely happy to see how many of you are here. It's a joy. So before I go on, how many of you made a game before? Show of hands. So you're all pretty interested in the whole thing. How many of you have a specific idea or concept already that you'd like to work on during the competition? Interesting. Almost everyone. Right. So I'm just going to stand up here for a few minutes. I could spend them on talking about the publishing process, because that's where I've spent my last few years focusing on, and I could tell you about the interesting trends like that. Despite the biggest growth in the industry coming from mobile games and free-to-play, sales of the PC computers actually took a spike last year and is coming back. So PC gaming is coming back with a vengeance. I could tell you an interesting thing like that. If you're going to publish a mobile game, you should only publish on $4.99 or higher, because there's no price. The price elasticity between 99 cents and $5 is non-existent, because if people want to buy something, they already have intent, and it doesn't matter if it's 99 cents or $5. But instead of telling you those kind of things, I'm actually going to focus on things that I think are more relevant to you, which is pushing an idea, the concept that you already have in your heads, the game you want to make, into reality and what it takes. Because another part of my job is I'm constantly meeting and greeting and talking to new developers that have great concepts, great ideas, great art, great vision, but they also oftentimes live in a bubble. And the biggest part, the most struggling, the hardest part is getting from that awesome concept and idea into some sort of reality. It's structuring something that's basically without any corners, because ideas are very untangible, and figuring out how you systematically break it down into a structure that still holds true to the concept or the idea that you had in your mind. And one way to do that, and I urge you to think about this, is first of all, a game is an experience. It's an emotional thing. That's what games are. That's what they do for us. They tug at our emotions. They're fun, they're sad, they're frustrating. They let us feel different things. That's what games do. The difference between a game and some sort of working software be it Word or a financial processor or whatever, is that Word or Excel are functional. They're all about function and form and efficiency and helping you do a job in the most efficient way possible. Games don't care about that. They're about bringing you from A to B emotionally. They're about evoking emotion. And when you think about the idea you have in your head and you think about what you want to build, why it is exciting to you is probably because it pulls at your own emotion somehow. It has some sort of an emotional core reactor that you go, this is fun because I am this kind of player. I like things that are difficult or frustrating or challenging, and that's the core you have to preserve. So before you start actually programming something or making something or pushing it into reality, make a small document that just contains the core pillars of what you're going to achieve. Create a beacon for yourself, something that outlines the emotional experience that you want people to go through when they play the game. How should the player feel? How should he react? What should he walk away from the game? How should he feel? Because some of the best and most memorable games out there all have a very specific part to play on an emotional journey. And that's the games that are remarkable. That's the games that people talk about because they become catalysts of conversations between people because they made them feel something. So when you start making your thing, before you do it, put down these pillars of what you actually want to achieve, and then use that as a guiding light whenever you come to a decision about how should we implement this, what kind of music should we pick, what kind of graphics do we need. Think about what you're actually trying to achieve at the end, and use that to guide you. And I think that's the only partial wisdom I'm gonna throw out there, and hopefully you'll take it and do something with it. And I'm looking forward to see how whatever comes out of this competition. I'm sure we'll see a number of very interesting games and titles that might even go on to be something bigger than you first expected it to be. Okay, have fun.
Thank you, Jonas. I actually think Microsoft Words give you emotion, Jonas. Usually that's frustration when it crashes. The main presentation today is David Tui, sorry. So I'm just gonna give the floor to you, David.
All right, we're actually running this as 2 separate videos that you'll be able to find later online. So I'm just going to set that up right away.